Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. Ninjas are here, but how good are they actually? With the new structure deck having been released, how good is Ninjas? Now for 1500 gems, obviously the structure deck is still pretty good, just in terms of value if you do want to play this deck. And honestly, the deck's pretty good, all things considered. It's not insane by any means, but it is a decent deck nonetheless. It has game against some of the metagame, but not much. But more importantly, it's just fairly decent overall and can take games. So there's that. Overall, what is the game plan? It's centered around flipping cards face up and face down by utilizing different effects like Mitsu, Jiro, and the like in order to basically interact with your opponent by flipping cards face down. There is technically a negate, but not much. And then basically just attacking directly with Maizen in order to take out your opponent. So that's overall the game plan. Let's talk about the deck and the card by card. Starting off with Tobari. This card allows you to special summon it from the hand by discarding it. It also has some other on-field effects that don't really matter. But yeah, it's mostly used for that special summon. You discard it, you special summon a ninja from your hand. Fantastic. We also have Mitsu, which special summons itself if you control a ninja or a face-down defense position monster, which is also pretty nice. And then we also have Green Ninja as another new card. We're playing 3 apiece of Tobari and Mitsu, and then 2 Green Ninja. Green Ninja is pretty nice. If a monster is special summoned face up, you can flip it face down by special summoning this guy as well. You target it, you flip it face down, and then you special summon, or you special, then flip. Doesn't really matter. Pretty good. Also, if it's sent from hand or field to the grave, you are able to then change the battle position of a card on the field to either face up attack position or face down defense position. Next up, we have Baku and Kagero, which are at 1 apiece, and these 2 are also new. Basically, all of these are new except for Hanzo. Yeah, that's basically it. Hanzo and Art of Duplication are the only 2 that are old ninja cards, so there's that. But yeah, we're going to play the Kagero as well as the Baku. Baku adds to hand on special or flip face up. That's pretty nice. It also is able to special summon itself if it's added to the hand. And then Kagero is also able to, on normal, it adds a ninja or a ninja art from grave or face-up spell and trap card zone to the hand. Kagero is able to, on normal or special or being flipped face up, special summon a ninja monster from hand or grave in face down defense position, which is pretty nice. And then on top of that, it has another effect that kind of comes up. When your opponent activates card or effect that it targets exactly 1 ninja card or a face down defense position card while this card is in your graveyard, you special summon this card in face down, and if you do, return that targeted card to the hand. It's fine. It very rarely comes up, but it's fine. But yeah, there you go. So we're playing 1 apiece of those, mostly as search targets, as well as just additional ways to get more bodies onto your side of the field, if need be. We are then playing 2 Geo. This is our boss monster, which is a dead brick in the hand. You just don't want to see this card in your hand, but because you don't want to see it in your hand, because it's dead in the hand, you also want to basically play 2 of it, so that if you do see it, you're able to then still special summon 1 from the deck. However, there are ways of getting it out of the hand with like Tobari and stuff like that, but it's better just to be in the deck. Anyway, on normal or flip face up or special, you are able to target 2 face up monsters and flip them to face down defense position. And if they're if they're the opponent's monsters, they're permanently face down, which is really good. Also, if a monster is flip face up while this card is face up on the field, you can target a card your opponent controls and destroy it. So not only does it deal with some monsters, it can also pop a card on the field, which is pretty nice. Overall, this is pretty good. It is a hard once per turn on both of those, so there's that. But yeah, pretty decent effect. Next up, we have Hanzo. Hanzo on normal adds a ninjutsu art card, and on special or flip adds a monster. Now, notably, these are when effects, so do not chain them to something else. Make sure that they are the chainlink 1 in the chainlink order. But yeah, Hanzo is very good, just being able to add the cards that you need. Also, on top of that, it adds Ninjutsu Art Notebook, which allows you to set a ninja if your opponent controls a card, either a ninja or a ninjutsu art from deck, and 1 of the other 1 from grave. Yeah, that's basically it. You can set only one if you need to as well. So if you don't have something in the grave, you can still set something from the deck, which is pretty nice. And yeah, that's, again, pretty good. Being able to set up to 2 cards is pretty strong. Talking of the ninjutsu arts, we have ourselves Iron Digger, the ninjutsu art tool, which allows you to equip it. It becomes a ninja monster, it gains 500 attack, you can banish a ninja from the grave and then target a card in the field and destroy it, and if it's sent to the grave, you can target one of your banished ninja monsters and add it to your hand or special summon it in face down defense position. Honestly, pretty good. It gets you another material onto your side of the field, it is able to pop a card, it gets your monsters even larger, which is all very strong. We also have Art of Duplication. You tribute the ninja monster to special summon ninja monsters from the deck in face-up attack position or face-down defense position with combined levels less than or equal to the level of the tributed monster. Meaning if you tribute a 4, you can summon 2 2s, or if you tribute a 8, you can summon a 4 and a 4 and a 2 and a 1 and a 1 or more. You can summon 3 2s and 2 1s. Yeah, you can fill up your field. It's great. That's why we're playing it. It's also searchable, again, off of the Hanzo, which is nice. It's also searchable off of Saizo, so there's that as well. Then we have the Art of Dancing Leaves, which tributes in order to do special summon from the deck. It tributes specifically a ninja or a face-down defense position monster on the field. Notably, face-down defense position does not include just your monsters, so you can tribute your opponent's monsters, which does come up. Also, you special summon a ninja monster from your deck, and this can be in face-up attack or defense position. So there's that. Notably, not face-down, which does matter. And then when it leaves the field, you send the other card to the graveyard. Then it also has a secondary effect that can bounce itself back to the hand, basically, which is pretty good. Now, it is a hard once on both of those effects, so you can only use one of those effects per turn. As for the rest of the cards, we are playing the triple Maxi, the triple Ash Blossom, the double Nibiru, a double Imperm, and 1 Pot of Prosperity, as well as triple Book of Moon, double Called By, and 1 Crossout. We really don't like Maxi. We also really don't like, more specifically, Ash Blossom. So we do want to play all of the outs that we can. So there's that. On top of that, Nibiru is just kind of good because flipping cards face down means that if you do Nibiru, you can Nibiru your own field, and those face down monsters will still be there, which is pretty nice. And so yeah, those are just lots of text, lots of non-engine pieces, lots of tech cards, which is pretty nice. But it does mean that our deck's not the most consistent. You could play other pot of cards in order to facilitate additional searches and stuff like that. But, you know, Pot of Desires isn't exactly great in this deck. Maybe you could play Extrav, but probably not worth it. Anyway, let's move on to the extra deck. We're playing all of the fusions. Yaguramaru, the Armor Ninja, requires you to tribute 2 of your ninja monsters, as well as same with the Maizen. So they both have basically the same condition. 2 ninja monsters of different types, notably, which all of these are basically different types. There's not really anything that's of the same type. There are a few things like Geo, as well as the Tobari are the same type, and I believe Baku and Green are the same type, but basically everything else is a different type from all of the rest, so there's that. But Yagu, on special, you banish a ninja or a ninja art in order to banish a card your opponent controls, and Maizen is able to, if your opponent activates a card effect, you can special summon a ninja in face-up or face-down defense position, which is pretty nice. And then also, it allows all of your ninja monsters to attack directly. Now, notably, with Iron Digger, you are also able to change a monster to a ninja monster, which means that something like Boral Sword is now able to attack directly twice, which is why we're playing Boral Sword. We're also playing Gigantic Sprite because we're playing Toods, as well as Link 2s in order to go for it. Zeus. We also have ourselves 2 Saizo. Saizo, during the main phase, is able to set a ninjutsu art from the deck, and then also it's protected while it points to a card. So that's pretty nice. We're playing 2 of those. We're playing the 1 Cross Sheep because we do fusion summon, so being able to special summon again from the grave is pretty nice. We're playing the 1 Dark, we're playing the 1 Elf, we're playing the 1 Boral Sword, and we're playing 1 Appo. Honestly, Appo never really came out, but it can occasionally. This was probably better off as an Underworld goddess, but there's that. Anyway, that's it for the deck. Let's hop into the replays and show you how this deck performs. Alright, here we are going first, and that's a pretty good hand if I do say so myself. So we're going to start off here with the Hanzo, normal summoning it to grab up the duplication, because we already have the art of the notebook as well as the dancing leaves. These are the two that we would get if we didn't have them. Obviously, dancing leaves is first, then the art if we're going first. Yeah, that's basically it. Now we get to go and special summon it, or... Sorry, we special summon our Mitsu in order to then have the material for Maizen. We're just going to special summon the Maizen, set a whole bunch of cards, and pass, and hope that our opponent doesn't draw Harpy's Feather Duster. My opponent is going to be revealing that they are on Black Wings, and so I'm like, okay, cool, I'm going to go for the Mitsu here. The reason for this you'll see in a second. They're going to go for the Black Whirlwind, and I'm like, that's fine, now you have a card, I'm going to go for the Ninjutsu Art Notebook. This now allows us to have a negate with the Mitsu, as well as being able to go and... activate the effect of the Geo if we need to. I'm also actually just going to tribute off my monster here in order to then special summon the Geo, because I'm like, I really don't want them to have a monster. So I'm going to flip these two face down, and then, have you read Sharingan, by the way? They did search it, but Sharingan just requires any monster with 2,000 or more attack to be on the field. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was the case. Did you know that? Because I certainly didn't. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. We're going to activate the Mitsu on the Vata to negate it. And then since a card was flipped face down, or sorry, face up, while our Geo was already on the field, we got to pop their Vata, so it didn't get to activate its effect, and we get to keep the called by, which is fantastic. During the end phase, we're also going to tribute off our monster and summon out 3 additional monsters, the Hanzo, the Baku, as well as the Tobari, and now we can get to activate the Hanzo and the Baku. So we're going to activate the Baku in order to add back, I believe, a Hanzo from our hand, or from our grave, yeah, we're going to do that, and then we're also going to activate the Hanzo in order to grab Kagero. That's basically it. The game is more or less over as long as we just continue to play this out. So we're going to link off here in order to go into Cross Sheep, and then we are going to get Trap Stunned, which is very funny. But I'm just going to bounce with the art of the Dancing Leaves, just bounce it back to hand. And then also, this does get rid of the Geo, which kind of sucks because the Dancing Leaves left the field. But alas, not really a whole lot more that I could have done about that. Anyway, I'm just going to normal summon the Kagero and just go into Geo. Now we can tribute off, in order to go into the Maizen. Maizen is then going to also trigger the Cross Sheep to special summon back the Hanzo. Hanzo is then going to search out another Mitsu, and then we are going to, I believe, link off into Saizo. Yeah, out comes the Saizo. We're going to activate the effect of the Saizo in order to set our Iron. Out comes the Mitsu here, and then we can link all of those off into Boral Sword. We needed to grab the Iron here in order to change the Boral Sword into a Ninja. We can now attack directly with both the Boral Sword as well as the Maizen, and then Boral Sword obviously can switch a monster to defense position and attack for another 3,500 damage. So that is well over lethal. Good game. Alright, here we are once again going first, and once again with the Hanzo and Mitsu. As you can see here, we're grabbing up the Dancing Leaves, and then we're going to basically do the same thing. However, I am going to go for the Green Ninja here. We're going to then link off into the Saizo. Saizo is then we're also going to activate the Green Ninja in order to flip back up the Mitsu. Doesn't really change anything, but we're gonna. They're also going to DD Crow the Green Ninja, as if it, MST negates. We're going to set the Ninjutsu Art Notebook, because we already have our other card, and go into the Maizen and set 3 more and pass. So, honestly, feeling pretty good. They're going to go and reveal that they are on a Tenyi. It's most likely a Sword Soul, but I'm going to go for the Mitsu here as well, and because of this, we are now able to go and activate the art. I'm also going to call by the Ash Blossom so that the art makes sure that it resolves. We're going to set the duplication from deck and set the Hanzo from grave. They're going to draw 2. I'm like, okay, not really anything I can do about that. Out comes the Ashana. They're going to link off into the Monk. That's totally fine. They're then going to normal summon Moye, and I have 2 options here. I can either go for the Infip or I can go for the Mitsu, but they reveal in hand Protoss. So I go, okay, I'm gonna go for the Mitsu here. Reason being, I want to keep the Imperm for the Protoss. There isn't really like a specific reason for that, but I feel like having the Imperm in particular for the Protoss feels a little bit better, as well as just in case if they don't end up summoning the Protoss, or like if they don't end up activating the Protoss where it's going to affect me, because again, most of our monsters are of different types, different attributes. We can also just imperm it and on the opponent's turn, and then pop it if we need to. So that's kind of the idea, or on my turn. So that's kind of the idea there. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. Out comes the Geo. They summoned a Vishada as well as they have the Moye, and I'm like, let's just not deal with that. So we're gonna flip those two face down. Out comes the Ashana again. They're then going to link off into Shaman. Then they're going to activate the Shaman effect, sending the Ashana to the graveyard, special summoning back the Monk. And hey, that was 3 different attributes in the grave. So out comes the Protoss. I guess they didn't realize that they could do that from hand, and they could have kept the Ashana, but or not from hand, from field as well. But alas, it doesn't really matter. They're going to call fire and then concede. I think they realized that they didn't really have a good option there. Like, sure, they could have called Dark, but that's not really going to do anything. But they called Fire, and I still had the Imperm, and they just conceded. Look, not the brightest of Sword Soul players, but... Alright, once again, going first with the Hanzo. These just happen to be the best games that I played. I know it sounds very weird, but, like, not every game was like this, but most of the time if the games weren't me starting with Hanzo, not for lack of trying, but it was mostly just like, oh, my opponent just played poorly, or was like on a bad deck. Don't know, just happened to be this way, but hey, Hanzo again. My opponent is going to go for the Effect Veiler on my Hanzo, and I'm just going to flip it face down with Book of Moon. That is another thing with Book of Moon that makes it pretty decent. My opponent is then going to Imperm our Kagero. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But now we're going to go for the Ninjutsu Art. We're going to pop our Art in order to then special summon the Tobari. We're then going to fusion off into the Maizen, and then set 1 and pass. Not exactly the greatest, but we couldn't really use the Kagero because we did have to have that second type. So we grabbed the Winged Beast Tobari and went from there. They're going to just pass. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Out comes Hanzo. Out comes Gamma. I'm like, okay, cool. And then the second Gamma. What is this person playing? That's 4 hand traps, technically. Granted, the Gamma doesn't really work here. So they negate the Maizen. Sure. That's cool. They don't have a second driver. Not surprising. So I just grab Mitsu anyway. And now their Gamma that is in their hand is just dead because the driver is now banished. So there's that. Anyway, I'm going to bounce my monster back to the hand and then realize, oops, shouldn't have done that because Hanzo was still connected to it. That's fine. We're going to normal summon, special summon the Mitsu because I drew a second Mitsu because I'm just good like that. We're going to go for the Saizo. I'm going to attack directly. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, why are we doing this the way that we are? Well, so far I've only seen hand traps and I'm like, they probably have something like a evenly matched maybe in their hand. So I'm going to just play around it just in case. We're going to set now from the deck the Ninjutsu Art Notebook, as well as the set the card that we bounced, the Dancing Leaves. They're going to reveal that it's actually Numeron. It's actually Numeron. It was actually Numeron this whole time. Did you guess that? No, you didn't. You're lying. There's no way you thought that this was Numeron. How? Okay. Out comes 4 monsters. That's fine. I'm going to special summon the Geo and then realize, oh, I made a mistake. Should not have done that with the way that I did, but that's fine. No, I did do this the way that I did for a specific reason, because if they ended up attacking the Geo first, I would have just flipped up the Geo and I wouldn't have had to special summon the one from deck. But that's fine. We now get to just flip 2 of their cards face down, and they're going to Forbidden Droplet, and then Limiter Removal. So, well, at the very least, they got over the Geo, which is something. I think they thought that Droplet also worked with defense, but it doesn't. So now I just have a Geo on my field, and then they made Zeus. Don't know why, but they did. Anyway, I'm gonna flip it face down permanently, and then we're gonna go for the Iron Digger in order to pop itself, in order to special summon back the Hanzo in face down defense position. Doesn't really matter, we just need another monster to go for the Maizen to just attack directly. We have 2 set cards as well, most notably the Dancing Leaves, so I'm feeling pretty good even at this point. My opponent's going to Droplet again, which doesn't really do anything, but that's fine. I'm also going to then just tribute off their Zeus, because I'd rather keep the Maizen basically at this point. And it's the end phase, so they can't really do anything. We're going to go Art of Duplication and special summon out 3 additional monsters, including the Baku. Baku is then going to also be flipped face down with the Green Ninja, and we're going to add back the Ninjutsu Art Notebook. At this point, the game is over. It's just... I'm just going to style on them at this point. I'm not really going to explain this part because I'm literally just clicking buttons and styling. We're going to go for the Elf here. Activate the effect of the Elf, special summon back the Mitsu. Then we're going to link off those, or sorry, fusion off those into the Maizen, into the Yagu, and we're going to banish, and then they just left. Cool. All right, here we are going second. Now, notably, one thing about this is that it's actually pretty good for the event that is currently going on, the Fusion XZ event. It's not great, but it's decent because most of the interactions are from the deck, as well as from the fusion monsters. So it's at least decent. But I wanted to show you this game because it's very funny. So we have nothing here. We have literally nothing. But my opponent is going to go activate the Summoner Monk, and I'm going to go Maxi. It's going to resolve, because of course it does. Anyway, my opponent is going to special summon out a monster, and we draw immediately Nibiru. And then we draw Ash Blossom. And I'm going to Ash this, because I do not know what Utopias want to do. So I'm just like, I'm just going to stop that right there. I just don't want to see this. Let's just stop right there. And then I draw a second Book of Moon. Okay, cool. I'm going to set 4 and pass. Sure. My opponent's going to go Utopia Prime. I'm like, okay, that seems like a good option. I'm going to book that. I don't know what it does. I'm just going to book it. I know that they want a Utopia on their side of the field. And out comes Tobari. Okay, again, not great. Not great. In fact, pretty bad. I don't have a link monster to, like, link this guy off into anything. So, well, hopefully that guy can... Hopefully we can draw something good here, right? Hopefully that book... That's the best draw in the deck! Fantastic. So we're going to start off here with Ninjutsu Art Notebook, and I'm like... Do I care about this Maxi? No. Because here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set the Dancing Blade. Or, sorry, Dancing Leaves. And then I'm going to set Tobari. That's it. That's the whole plan. That's the whole plan. That is the plan. So, yeah, Maxi goes through, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm not special summoning. That's a waste of a card. Out comes Raigeki. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, no! Now we die. Except, haha, hee hee, funny, this card specifically just says a face-down monster. That means, goodbye, Utopia! Hello, Hanzo. Out comes Hanzo, they get to negate, and I'm like, that's fine. I still have the Nibiru, I still have Double Called By, and now I can actually play the game. I'm going to activate this effect in order to bounce it back to my hand. I'm like, oh, that's totally fine. Yeah, you can have the Ghost Ogre. Oh, shit, my Hanzo. Well, I still have Nibiru. Again, most of the time, Art of Dancing Leaves, I don't know why I consistently forget. I think it's because most other things do not... Sorry, that sounded annoying. Most of the other things do not... I guess I just forget that they are tied to the other monsters, because I'm like, oh, if this thing goes away, it's not really that big of a deal. Because I forget that my monster is also tied to that card. But alas, oops. Anyway, out comes Utopia, and today I learned that the monsters, the ZS monsters, ZS? Yeah, the ZS monsters that specifically give the effect to the monster, if you negate the monster that they are giving the effect to, like an Xyz material giving the effect to another Xyz monster, you can call by the Xyz monster, and it negates that effect. I didn't know that. I don't know why that works the way that it does. I mean, I guess it makes the most amount of sense because it's giving the effect to the monster, but it's still weird, and I would have seen that go either way in Yu-Gi-Oh!, and I wouldn't have been surprised. I draw Maxi. Now, I know what you're saying. That's not great. It is, because now we get to tribute it off, because it's a face-down monster. Out comes Hanzo. Hanzo, grab Baku. Baku special summons itself. Baku effect, grab up our Ninjutsu Art Notebook. Activate the Notebook, set the Geo, and then we also get to set the Dancing Leaves. We're then going to special summon out the Maizen. Maizen is then going to be equipped with the Iron Digger that we drew way back, and then we're going to pop the monster. We're then going to go to battle. They're going to concede, realizing that the game is over. That was off of Maxi. Hooray. Now, granted, I could have done that a while ago, but I didn't call by the Ghost Ogre, even though I had a second one, because I'm stupid. So cool, don't be like me. Alright, we're back with the deck, and in all honesty, this deck is good. It's pretty decent. It's not exceptional, but it's pretty fun. And that, I think, is the most important part about this deck in particular. It plays a lot like most modern Yu-Gi-Oh decks, which is very nice. It, you know, it has its gimmick in what it does and its interactions, which is very cool. And it's not just a whole bunch of Omni negates. And it actually does, you know, it plays on the opponent's turn by setting up things like Dancing Leaves and Art of Duplication and the like in order to, you know, summon your monsters by, you know, summoning Geo to flip monsters face down, being able to negate with things like Mitsu and the like. It's pretty decent, all things considered. And then it's, you know, Maizen, which is frustrating, I'm not gonna lie. Being able to attack directly even over the opponent's face-up monsters is kind of frustrating, but all in all, I think that this deck is pretty fun, even to play against. However, with that being said, I'm not personally a fan of it. I don't really know why. It doesn't really click with me. It's decent fun, but yeah, more of a personal thing. All in all, though, just a great deck. Really worth the investment. Well, maybe not worth the investment, but it's decent. I think it's not better than, like, the Salamangreat structure deck, but it's something. Anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated. And if you want to check out more content like this, as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh! That's what we're playing. If you want to check out more Yu-Gi-Oh! Then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.